Hey there folks, it's your favorite Asian robot. I am here on another video to do the talent tree guide for all escalations. Now, I know several people have posted about the radiant escalation or this and that bullshit. They did it like a couple of seconds after the radiant escalation was released. Okay, no. In case some of you were not aware, there were also talent tree changes to all the other escalation trees, which you might know because they removed the base lifesteal that you would get. All right, so I'm actually going to go through all the different talent trees and show you what I've picked for each and every single one, and hopefully that'll help you guys along because I know a lot of people have been asking about this, especially with the recent changes. So we're going to go into that right now. All right, I'm not going to waste your time. Let's get straight into it. I'm going to remove my webcam so you guys can see it easier. All right, starting from the shock escalation. All right. You'll notice I'm getting a bonus 100 power and 100 defense, all right, from being level 25. Keep that in mind, all right? With the shock escalation, my first priority in any situation is to go for passives, okay? Passives are my first priority, and then you can spend the rest of the points wherever you want, all right? So I'm actually going to reset the tree and go through it with you step by step, stage by stage. It may end up slightly different, but again, that is because that is due to decision points, all right? And I'll explain those when I get to them. So we're gonna reset the tree, all right? First things first, what is the only passive here? Zai's maneuvers. People always say, movement speed, what the fuck is that even used for? Why don't I just take the other stuff? Yeah, okay, listen. Passives are important. Why? Not only do they benefit some builds, but also movement speed is unusually looked down upon, but it actually does help you get around things faster. So honestly, Zai's maneuvers is my first go-to, then squad goals. This unlocks the second column. So lucky strikes, that's a passive. I will go to that first. Then Mender's Gift, we don't really use Aether Vents, so I would put 1 point into Torn Shields if it's necessary, or I will put a point into Executioner, all right? So this is your choice based on what you need. Okay, personally, I don't ever take defensive talents unless I have no other choice. Now coming here, there's a passive, Stragus Harvester, but it's not useful except for breaking parts because it's got a 5% chance of granting double rewards, but that's not really useful for veteran players. And honestly, if you're doing the escalations, it shouldn't really be to part farm except for the first few times that you run it. At the later stages, you're mostly using it for XP. So what do I do at this stage? First of all, Paragon's Blessing is useful, but it only takes place when you dodge. So I would go back to Executioner and get that to max. Why? Because Executioner is super helpful. It just helps you kill things faster. Some people like Breath of Life. It can be useful if you need survival, but again, it's a defensive choice. So I would go with the offensive choice, which is Paragon's Blessing to 2 ranks. All right, then I stop there. Next, Moira's Reinforcement. Passive, damage reduction, grab that. Next, upgrading the Spite Amps, this one is your choice, but honestly what I would do is I would put in a point into Thrill of the Hunt instead. Then Cat's Claws, passive attack damage, go for that. Then again, you've got a choice, Duelist Precision, Full Throttle. Duelist Precision is an offensive talent, but again, you would want more base damage rather than just crit, so I would go with Thrill of the Hunt, right? Then this unlocks the last tree. Now here is where it's your choice. I like to have Lady Luck's Barrage. All right, I find it very useful for clearing escalations at higher speeds. All right, so I usually get 1 point in Torquedoros, right? Then the 4 remaining points, I'll finish Thrill of the Hunt. Okay, I will usually finish Paragon's Blessing, and then with my remaining 2 points, if I want to, I can choose Duelist Precision, Full Throttle. I like to sometimes pick Full Throttle just because if it pops up for the Malkurion, it's really good. And then Duelist Precision gets 1 point. Sometimes I will not take Full Throttle and just put it into Duelist Precision. Honestly, up to you. At this point, it's all just your choice, okay? So you'll notice that it looks a bit different from when I started, but again, it's your choice. Like I flip-flop because it doesn't really matter what your final choices are, okay? And I'll be using this talent tree for the rest of the time. We're gonna do the same thing with the Blaze tree. Now, I'm just gonna straight restart it. All right, Blaze Escalation. I'm gonna go through it with you, and you'll see that I follow the same principles. Okay. Starting at the bottom, Zai's maneuvers, 3 points straight in. Squad goals, That takes us to the second column. Now, Borman's Might is a passive for stagger, so straight in again, 3 points. Then you've got the Aether Vents. We don't use that. Torn Shields, again, it's not really offensive in nature, right? So Go Time is a perfect amp if you want to, but if you feel that you really need it in Blaze Escalation, go for your Torn Shields. It's genuinely your choice. I generally don't use Go Time much, so I actually pick Torn Shields here. Strega's Harvester, again, this is the only passive we don't take because it's freaking useless unless you have to break parts. Breath of Life, not really necessary. Paragon's Blessing. So we need to put in more points. So now we've put in 3 points here, and then I have 1 more left over. Again, I don't take anything defensive, so Torrent Shields to max. Okay, because I find that with Blaze Escalation, keeping people alive or newer players alive is very helpful. Again, I ignore the Torgador Amp's duration, go straight for Moira's Reinforcement. I know some people like to do this one because of Torgador's Endurance, where he can stay on his head forever. If you want that, that's up to you. 1 point into Thrill of the Hunt, then we're here. Cat's Claws once again for the attack bonus. Then here's where it gets a little funky. With this particular tree, right? You don't need anything from Thrax, you don't need anything from Agorist, you don't need anything from Valkyrian. So I usually go 2 points into Pact of Swiftness. Why? Because I love Pact of Swiftness. It's beautiful. Then after that, I'll put 2 points into Thrill of the Hunt, again an offensive choice, and then I really have nothing else left over, right? So Full Throttle, not exactly very useful. Instead, what I'll do is, since I have 2 talent points left over, we can extend the duration of the Torgador Amps to 16 seconds, which will allow you to do the mounting thing. Together with Etheric Attunement, you can mount and just destroy him forever. Alright, so that is my Blaze Escalation talent tree. But note that if you really like Full Throttle, you can take out 1 point from here and put it into Full Throttle if you like. But passives are the most important thing, alright? Umbral Escalation. This time, we're not going... you know what? Actually, you know what? This time, I'll just do it again. I'll explain my choices as we go along because it's the best way. Zai's Maneuvers. Straight 3 points. Squad Goals, 1 point. Now, here is where it's a bit different again. It's a good thing that I went through it. Farslayer's Precision. 5% passive wound damage. It may seem helpful, but again, it's not a passive that you need. So you'd be wasting points. It's genuinely up to you, though. Because honestly, I find that even without this, and I've been running without this the entire time, my wounding builds do just fine on their own. They're designed to work without this because you didn't see this in the other previous 2 escalations, right? So I don't take Farslayer's Precision. I go with Pact of Swiftness. Again, I fucking love Pact of Swiftness. The 20% attack speed, 15% move speed, beautiful. When you, of course, after you activate it, meaning you have to do 1 encounter where you take extra damage. Now, next is Executioner. 2 points in that, and then we move on to this tree. Strega's Harvester, not worth your time. So, another point into Executioner. Then, you're faced with a choice. A lot of people, they will take, and in fact, I tried this for a little while, but I didn't like Expose Weakness. So here is where the fun begins. All right. You need to put in about 2 points to get here, right? So where do you want to put the 2 points in? Here are your options, okay? And this is an optional choice. You can go with Overclock. This can help with Thrax, and it can be quite useful. I was using this the past few times. You can advance your go time if you like that. You can choose Expose Weakness if you want, but having to take the Expose Weakness amp I found was a pain in the ass most of the time. So, what you can do is you can put 2 points into your Zayla's Farslayer's Precision at this stage if you want to. And now you've got 1 more point that you need to put in. You can choose to go for the 15% passive wound damage, or you can put in a point in Overclocked. Again, genuinely up to you. I find that Overclocked doesn't come up for me enough to make it worth it, so let's go for a max passive, okay? Then, again, Moira's Reinforcement, 3 points straight away for the 15% passive damage reduction. 1 point into Thrill of the Hunt. This should be familiar to you by now, right? Lucky Strikes, 3% passive critical strike chance. 3 points straight in, no cap. All right? Your choices are Surgical Precision, which can be very good for wounding builds, but again, it only benefits wounding builds. I find it too circumstantial, right? Full Throttle, an increase of 10% critical strike chance, but again, it's very situational and circumstantial. So I would put my points into Thrill of the Hunt again. If you want Lady Luck's Barrage, this can be very useful. So 1 point into Torgadoro, as always. 1 point into Thrill of the Hunt. This leaves us with 3 points left over that you can put anywhere you like. Genuinely your choice. So if you want to, I like to have upgrade the elemental form. Why? Because the umbral forms are so useful. I've got 1 point left over. I'm going to put it in overclock. Over full throttle because the 25% attack speed is beautiful. All right. And that is everything that I have for my Umbral Escalation. We're now going to cover the Terra Escalation. So once again, reset. Now, you guys should know the rules by now, right? Okay. Look at my face for a little while. You know the rules, right? Okay. 1, 2, 3. Passive. Size maneuvers. Then what do I do here? Pact of Hunger can be useful. Torrent Shield can be useful. Up to you which one you want. I find Pact of Hunger a bit more useful than Torrent Shield now, so I take Pact of Hunger. Now, Lucky Strikes, passive. You want that first. Here's where it gets fun. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is Pact of Swiftness. Why? You know why. I love Pact of Swiftness. Stragas, not needed. Pact Tactics, not needed. All this other stuff, all optional. So, Pact of Swiftness maxed. Shrapnel, max this. It's great for Bastion builds. You need 1 more point in now. Where are you going to put that? Pact of Hunger. Because you already had 1 level in it. Now you've unlocked the next tier. So, Moira's Reinforcement, max that first. Okay? Elemental Form, I love this. Another point. Cat's Claws, maxed out. Now, Thrill of the Hunt, 1 point. Now, here again, you've got a choice. Torgadoros, me, it's always a standard, but you don't have to. It's optional. Then, 2 points into Thrill of the Hunt. I've got 2 points left over that can go anywhere, right? So, I'll usually upgrade Elemental Forms to max, as always. Shield Sphere can be useful, or Torrent Shields can be useful. Pact Tactics is only useful for interrupting, and obviously it won't help you against the Keystone Behemoth, so I never take this. In fact, my last point usually goes into Torrent Shields. Why not Reckoning? Reckoning only works for the next Behemoth. Again, not really very useful. It can be used for a very hyper-fast Agorist kill, but you take 50% more damage. Genuinely up to you if you want to run that. I don't. I just go with another Torrent Shield. Oh, another person, Afterburner, met me again. Lol. Okay, so that is the Terra Escalation covered. Now we're going to go through the Frost Escalation. This one is contentious, but I'm going to show you my methodology for this because this one is very different to the normal, okay? Follow me on this. Okay, now, first things first, Fur-lined gear. Don't even touch Zai's maneuvers until you get this. Vid is coming out, so you will see all your names in the chat during the Terra/Frost Esca explanation. Have fun, Slayers. Always nice to meet fans in Ramsgate. Okay, so fur-lined gear is the first and most important thing. Without this, you will die. So your first point goes into fur-lined gear. Then you need 3 more points, right? Frozen armor, I don't really find it very useful. Okay, so I would go with Zai's maneuvers. Again, 3 points, done. Now later on, if you want this, you can take it. If you really want it, drop 1 level of Zai's maneuvers. You can take fur-lined gear. You can take frozen armor. Up to you. I don't find it necessary. Okay, next, fur-lined gear level 2. Please, dear God, touch this. Then the passive stagger. Again, it's up to you if you want Borman's Might, but what I always take is hot and cold. All right. Increasing attack speed by 9% is beautiful. Now, taking damage from any source will increase frostbite by 2%, but that's how it is. Okay. Moira's reinforcement will help mitigate that, but fur-lined gear 3. Okay, so just in case you didn't catch that, all right, I'm gonna do it again because I did it out of order. Fur-lined gear, Zai's maneuvers, optional if you want to go frozen armor, but I go for Zai's maneuvers 3. Fur-lined gear, hot and cold, fur-lined gear again, okay, and then Moira's reinforcement. Now, here is where it's important, okay? Stragas Harvester, not necessary, okay? Heated Blade, not necessary. Warm-Blooded, not necessary. These are all optional choices. Cat's Claws first. 1 point needs to be put somewhere. I personally always put it into Bottled Warmth. All right, this has saved my ass so many times. Okay, but if you don't need it, or you find you don't need it, go for Heated Blade for extra damage, or Warm Blooded. All right, honestly, either one is fine. Okay, then you're up here, right? Lucky Strikes. Never Bothered Me is very interesting. All right, this is what people take when they want to... Oh man. Enjoy the Talent Tree vid coming soon. Okay, so Never Bothered Me is only used if you really want to do speed runs. Okay, with this talent, although your frostbite will be at 50% for the entire run, if your whole team runs this, you can actually get the Frost Escalation done in under 8 minutes. It's that fast, all right, without tonics. So, get this if you're doing speed runs, but you can reset your talent tree anytime for free. So, me personally, I don't get this. Okay, what I do now is I think, okay, I need 4 talent points left over here. So what would I take? Personally, Warm Blooded is a good backup in case you're ever in a bad situation. But what I do is I go 1 point into Borman's Might, unlock all of this. I put 1 point into everything. Why? Aspect of the Defender. When a behemoth becomes staggered, gain 1% attack speed for the remainder of the escalation. This is so good for boosting your attack speed. You will get 2% if you're the Avatar of Control every time it's staggered. Whenever a behemoth part is wounded, 1% damage remainder for the rest of the escalation. This increases to 2% if you are the Avatar of Subtlety. Very amazing for raising your damage. Critical strikes deal 10% more damage. This is increased to 20% if you are the Avatar of Destruction. Get this. Aspect of the Mender. Pulse 40 healing to yourself and all slayers within a short distance every 5 seconds. If you're the Avatar of Unity, that's increased to 80. Get this. It's your sustain during this whole escalation. That leaves you with 1 more point that you can put anywhere you like. So, me personally, I either go with Heated Blade, but I don't find it very useful. So, to be fair, I go with Borman's Might. Alright, but some people will take Heated Blade. Heated Blade is pretty good. You can also take your Frozen Armor if you really want to, but I find that more stagger per hit is good. And wow, people in chat showing their toxicity. First of all, this fella, if you're gonna say anything racial, then that is absolutely disgusting, and I don't want to deal with people like that, so that guy's blocked. Okay, this person is just as toxic, so that person's getting blocked too. Ladies and gents, this is the behavior of a lot of the people here. So yeah, you know what? I'm not even gonna say anything. They're not even worthy of my words. All right, we're gonna move on to the last escalation. I know you guys have been waiting for this. This is the Radiant Escalation. The Radiant Escalation is a bit unique, but again, I'm gonna show you how it's done. I have a lot of stuff that I love in this. We're gonna reset it to the beginning, and I'm gonna show you what I take. So, first things first, right? Zai's Revolver. You thought it was Zai's Maneuver, but it's not. This is a must-have. Every 6th weapon hit creates a small explosion of a random element in front of you that does 40% of the damage of the last hit. This is really, really good. Take it. It's very useful. I like to have this. It just boosts your damage, and of course, damage is what we want. Next, take Executioner 1 point. For every behemoth below 50% health, you deal 3% additional damage. That's beautiful. Next, Moira's Reinforcement. Straight up, take that. Blind Fighting, not necessary. Flash Thrower, not necessary. So another point in Executioner. Okay. Third column, sorry. Pact is actually useless. We tested this because each round you would gain a random pact, and it doesn't stack. So it's actually worthless to have this. I go for Thrill of the Hunt. Alright? But Thrill of the Hunt here is actually quite useless. If you notice, it only increases damage by 1%. Right? So, if you don't like Thrill of the Hunt, what you can do is Zai's Revolver, as I mentioned, more like that. So you're here, right? Okay, if you don't want Thrill of the Hunt either from this tree, I would go Max Executioner first, right? Then you have literally like nothing else to put points into, right? You don't want Thrill of the Hunt, you don't want Pact, you don't want Far Slayer's Precision, Fleet. I like this one. And maxing it out gives you more movement speed, which is awesome. Okay, so this is if you don't want Thrill of the Hunt. Up to you what you choose personally. Whether you go for this or this, genuinely up to you. All right. Cat's Masterclass. Grab this and max it. Okay. Straga's Harvester, not necessary. Now here, Borman's Might, 1 point. All right. Then Lucky Strikes maxed. Then you've got 6 points left, right? Okay. Here, your choices are going to be a bit different. Why? I don't really use the Lady Luck's Barrage because the Radiant Escalation has so many good amps. So I go for 4 points in Eidolon Ruler. This gives you 4 Eidolons to fucking shoot the hell out of that, the Chronovore at the end. Now I've got 2 points spare and I can spend them anywhere. Me personally, I keep it simple. I just put them both into Borman's Might. Make staggering very easy. Bada bing, bada boom. And that's my Radiant Tree. Now, again, optional is that instead of Fleet, you can go for Thrill of the Hunt if you want to max out damage. Up to you, okay? I don't really use Tireless because consuming stamina can be quite useful for a lot of builds. Straga's Harvester, obviously useless. Pact, honestly useless. Although you can hope for the damage buff at the last round if you want to do some kind of trick shot. Blind Fighting can be useful if you see the smallest around. So again, circumstantial, but some people will take this just to do trick shots. Flash Thrower, obviously not useful, and that's about it. That is about it. And of course, maybe some of them will take one of these so that they can max out their damage. But at the end of the day, this is the talent tree that lets me speedrun the escalations, as you've seen. And ladies and gents, that brings us to the end of the video. Thank you very much. Sorry about seeing some of that shenanigans at the end. Very disappointed with the way that some people act, but hey, that's Dauntless for you. A lot of the people in the official are very, very toxic, and this is the kind of behavior that they exhibit. Thankfully, most of the RealAsianRobot community is never like this, so if you want to hang with a real community, you can come and hang with ours. Thank you very much for supporting the streams, and thank you very much for liking my content. I hope you guys will like, share, and subscribe. All right, look at these people all jumping around me. Like, share, and subscribe. If you want to support the channel even further, you can always drop a tip via the link in the description of the video. You can send super thanks on YouTube. You can join as a channel member, or drop by the stream and send super chats. Thank you if you guys support us. All right, we appreciate you guys very much. I will see you guys on the next video. Don't forget, this weekend the top supporter list and members listing is coming out, so look forward to having your name on there if you've been dropping on me. All right, thank you all very much. You guys are amazing. Arigato, sarangeyo. We love you. We'll see you on the next one. Y'all have fun now.